Nowadays, most of us are tweeting and Instagramming and Facebooking pretty much 24/7. It's the way the new generation works. But social media is a very public platform, and it can be a minefield of note. So where do you draw your boundaries? Juliet got some advice.
Social media is very much a part of our lives. It's a place to have your opinion heard, make jokes and comments, but just how much are you allowed to say, and where does freedom of speech come into it? There have been many examples of people losing jobs or being vilified for sharing their opinions on social media. Remember Justine Sacco, a US PR person? She tweeted an insensitive comment about AIDS just before getting on a plane to South Africa and wound up becoming the internet's punching bag. She lost her job and her reputation all by the time she had landed. If you make homophobic, racist, or sexist comments, you will soon feel the consequences. Social media is self-policing, and the backlash is fierce. But even something like complaining about your job can land you in hot water. If you complain about it being boring or your boss being an idiot, you could find yourself unemployed. A teacher in the US was fired from her job for tweeting that she was naked, wet, and stoned. So what about freedom of speech? Are employees not allowed to voice their personal views?
The relationship between employment law and the freedom of speech in South Africa is particularly interesting. If we go back to the basics, yes, you have a right to say whatever you would like about your employer, your fellow employees, the business, or the work that you do. But that doesn't mean that there won't be consequences for it. In terms of South African law, if you were to bring the company or your employer into disrepute, that is grounds for dismissal.
But just how private are your posts? Surely if your settings are switched to private, you should be okay. The answer is no. You cannot assume your posts won't be seen. The network effect means that even if you think your private post is only being viewed by your friends, it is more than likely being shared, liked, or commented on, which means your friends' friends can also see your post. Association is another thing to take into account. You are associated with your company, so your views may come across as representing its views, which can be a problem, of course. In terms of South African law, an employee who expresses opinions on social media may be subject to both damages claims from the employer as well as dismissal.
My advice has always been, if you don't want to read about or read what you're about to say in the national or international newspapers, don't put it online. Always think before you click. If you're angry, take a step back, calm down, and then maybe visit your post again.
The line between private and public is getting blurry, and social media is changing faster than we can keep up.
Social media has created a great platform for people to speak their mind, speak freely. But I think with that comes a lot of responsibility, and I think a lot of times that responsibility isn't taken serious. And I think that's caused a lot of controversy and some problems.
The problem with social media for me is it has become almost like a competition to see how much fame you can get, how much likes you can get. So people will post anything that they want or think that will give them the most likes possible.
Of course, everyone is entitled to their opinion, but a good dose of common sense is needed before you post something that you may regret. There is a saying that was around a long time before social media came about, and it is still relevant. Think before you speak.